Hey, what is going on, guys? My name is Jety, and today I am back for my CSGO betting predictions for the 23rd of May. So, to recap, as always, guys, we're going to hop in the results. And today was an amazing day, guys. Envious Academy, you guys know I said you can either bet minus 1.5, money line, but I said you definitely have to pick cash. And the cash spread was minus 3.5. That means that Envious had to win by 4 rounds or more, and they won by 4 rounds, guys. So the 3-unit max play hit. Overall, I knew that their CT side would be the downfall of the match. I said this in my last video as well. Their CT side is very weak, but I knew exactly that their T side would match up very well against property CT side, and that is what won us that cash game. So thank God it worked out, and thank God they held on for 6 rounds on the CT side. Inferno, on the other hand, guys, I think is a very T-sided map. That's just my personal opinion. They did pretty well on their T side, but property obviously had a way better T side. They got 10 rounds, and Envious only got 1. So that is going to get rid of the minus 1.5. So how it works is I said you can either do money line or minus 1.5. So no matter what, though, guys, if you did money line, minus 1.5, and cash, let's say you did all of them, then you're still up 3 units around there. If you just did minus 1.5 in cash, you're still up about 2 units. Or if you did money line and cash, and you're up 4 units, which is awesome. Moving on, the Mirage, guys. This is the seal of deal for the money line. They looked really well. They should have won like 16-7, but at the very end there, property stole like 4 rounds from them on the very end of the game. They just couldn't. They kept forcing up and stuff like that, but they did eventually close it out. Look at the stats here. Jax, I think, did really well. His score doesn't really show it here, but he did really well. Sixer did well. Lambert, he did all right. Like I said, guys, Lambert's kind of the downfall of the team. He sometimes subs in for Envious. I'm pretty sure the actual Envious. Overall, though, Envious Academy with a nice win. And no matter what happened, guys, you're still positive on the day. So, guys, moving on to tomorrow. There's some good games, but what I'm going to do, guys, is from now on, I really don't like some of these games down here, and they kind of just take up the space. So what I'm going to start doing is just filtering it by 1 star just to get all the good games in there. So here are the 2 games that I'm going to bet on, or I potentially bet on. So the first game, Virtus Pro versus Avantgarde. So the big thing about this game, guys, is I said this yesterday as well. Virtus Pro is one of those teams. I'm not sure like what's going on with them. I said this previously. Something's happening. Something's weird. They're just not themselves. They're not the Polish plow that they always have been. They're not placing top 4 consistently, top 3 at events. They should win this event, guys, because I believe it's only, actually, I don't know, because SK, but it's only like Avantgarde, Virtus Pro, like SK, and then Gambit or something like that. But overall, not a lot of competition here. So if they don't win this, guys, then I think they're in the drain. They really are. They're not going to be favored versus SK. They just look very flat. If you guys go look up, a lot of them, I looked up their Steam hours, and they're just not playing a lot either. They're just not being themselves, guys. They're not grinding, I don't think, as well as they're just not clicking. So I'm going to stay away from that match because I really don't know much about Avantgarde as well. And if you guys know Avantgarde, if you think there's a chance, but I see the value in 2.2 there. But overall, I just don't know enough. And honestly, I'm not really interested in betting on this match. So guys, the match of the day, SK versus Gambit. This is going to be, I believe, an amazing match. So I'm diving into it, just looking at the odds right off the bat. I do not see the value in betting moneyline. You guys know I'm a big moneyline bettor. For instance, that Envious Academy game, I love betting moneyline because, you know, teams upset maps like it happens. A really bad team can easily steal a map off a team if they're just starting off flat, starting off weak. Because sometimes, guys, if you start off like 12-3 at half, and obviously the 3-round team is way better, sometimes they just like kind of give up. It sounds really bad unless it's the last map. Like, all right, you know, we're gonna take this map, just relax, then we'll come back next map. It happens, it really does. But moving down here, just so you know, give you a brief overview of the players. Dacia, or we call him X God, very good player. He clutches up a lot. You guys have probably seen him in a lot of clutch tapes. He's very good at one-on-ones, which is something really interesting to keep in mind because SK, if you guys have looked, especially recently versus FaZe, they did not win a lot of 1v1s. They did not win a lot of 2v1s. They just didn't clutch up a lot. Adrian, very good player. Hobbit, he's been doing really well recently. I really don't know much about Mo and Seized. I really don't. I know Seized is a pretty good player. Mo, I seriously cannot even tell you his first name and like his real first name. Diving into SK, one thing I just want to say is usually I like to see the opper, see they stack up against the other opper. But one thing is not one of these guys like just ops on their own. You see Stewie op recently sometimes. You see Cold Zero op sometimes, and you see Fallen op. They alternate. I'm really not sure why, or not even why. I'm really not sure what the ideology behind it is. Because I watched some of their demos recently, and it just kind of depends on like what the round is. I guess like where they play on the map as well, but they also interchange that. That's why it's kind of weird and tricky to bet on SK because some of their CT sided setups are very good, but they interchange a lot. Not like one person, like for instance, Bolt doesn't go A every single time on like Cash. Let's say they'll go middle, they'll mix them up, they'll stack a side, they'll do this, they'll go off this. But I think that's also what makes SK an amazing team, guys. Because one thing you have to realize about Counter-Strike is it's a lot of it is yes skill. It's shooting straight, as well as just being a better player, movement, blah 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 blah. But one thing you guys have to know is a lot of it is unpredictability, as well as catching your opponent and just outsmarting them. That is a lot of Counter-Strike. A lot of it is just comes down to the strats as well as the setups. You guys know this, but I think you guys don't understand. That's what sets the difference between a tier 3 team like Envious and then Astralis. An example of this, guys, is I know you guys definitely read about it or saw it, was the Astralis HE grenade strat. Wherever nowadays, no matter if they're down or whatever, they always HE stack a specific spot. Like whenever they played Liquid, I saw on Nuke, one round they were ecoing and they all just bought HE grenades, $300, ran outside to the left side of the map, and all threw them outside because usually Liquid goes outside and likes to peek outside and try to work that. That's an amazing strat, and it's really underrated, guys. That's really what's going to set the difference between a team like them and a team that is, barely struggling to make the ECA main league. So two things I just want to add real fast about SK that I mentioned before, but I don't know if you guys may have not seen that video or whatnot. The in-game leader switch from Fallen to Cold Zero. If we go look at SK's recent matches, I believe they did the switch before this tournament, before I want to say maybe about a month ago, or not even, maybe a few weeks ago. I did it before the Season 7 finals. So guys, just to look a little bit at their past matches, I believe the in-game leader role switched about right here. And they initially played Renegades. I believe this is what started the Season 7 finals. They played Renegades, 2-0'd Renegades. And one thing about Renegades, guys, is they upset often. And they're also a decent squad. They have Nifty, who's one of the amazing up-and-coming players. And overall, they're a great team. They win against really good teams. I could dive into statistics, but Renegades, just better than what you think they are. They're currently ranked 10, I believe. Yep. Currently ranked 10 in the world. So, I mean, there you go right there. Nifty, been amazing. JKS, awesome. They're just overall a solid squad, guys. They're not superstars. Nifty probably will be, but the rest of them, not superstars. Nothing crazy, but they're solid. So, 2-0 Renegade, that's really impressive. It's more impressive than you think. Moving on, Optic, guys. Optic's one of those squads. They're very wishy-washy. I saw that they won map 3 versus Optic, and it was very close. But overall, that is still very impressive. Optic, Cajun B, Juji, they're just a great squad. But there's still nothing to be crazy about. They're ranked 22 right now. But I really would not look at this. They 2-0 Space Soldiers, but really is that an accomplishment anymore? I mean, I don't know. Space Soldiers is just not the same team they were, 2 months ago. Overall, still impressive. And this is a big one you want to look at, guys. We actually bet on this match. If you guys followed me or tailed me back then, we bet on this match and we won. We bet minus 1.5 versus SK. And it hit very, very convincingly, guys. I believe they won like 16-3. Let's see. Oh, no, 16-5, 16-13. This overpass was, not as close. It was like, it should have been like 16-8. If we go and look at SK here, Stu 2K, amazing. And one thing I want to point out, like Fallen here, guys. Fallen had 21 kills the whole entire series. 21 kills the whole series. Stu 2K had more on overpass himself. I saw Fallen also tweeted that he thinks something's wrong or thought something was wrong with this tournament, the way they played. And guys, I totally agree. I think something's wrong, but I think they're going to come back with a fiery passion. They've been playing a lot recently, I've seen. And also, SK needs to win this tournament, guys, to prove that they're not some tier 2 team. Obviously, they're not. But with the really embarrassing loss at the Season 7 finals, they need to prove that they're one of the top dogs still. And this would be a nice tournament to win. The only real competitor I'd say is VP, but they can easily take them. We will probably bet on that match if it comes out to that. But overall, SK need to win this tournament just to prove, they're still that team. They're still that threat to all the, other teams, Astralis, FaZe, Mouse Sports. They need to prove that they're that team that can knock down those big dogs as well. So guys, one thing I also want to mention about Gambit here is after watching, I believe, 3 demos, not very intensely, I watched one all the way through, skipped through about 2 of them. One thing I really want to say is that Gambit does not switch up their positioning ever. Very rarely. If it doesn't work, they do. I'm talking CT side here, guys. But especially maps like Train, I've seen that Gambit does not switch up their positioning often. They usually run the same people at the same exact time and whatnot. I watched this match right here versus North. And one thing that I realized is they send the same people to the same sites and they just post up and hope it works. And it almost worked. It did work, actually. Sorry, versus North. But North is not that good, guys. I'm going to be honest. They're definitely top 10. They are. Especially after winning the DreamHack Open Tours tournament. They're a great team, but they're nowhere near the level of SK. SK is way bigger, way tougher, way meaner, and can bully in that site there. If Gambit posts, 2 people at B on Train, right? They have them around the same area, maybe one upper, one lower, something like that. SK has the firing power just to run in that site, get those trades, plant that bomb, and boom, you got a disadvantage right there. So that is one thing I noticed about Gambit is in the 3 matches I saw on the CT side, they always run about the same people. They never switch up their CT strats, which really is a big disadvantage, which maybe they'll switch it up, guys. Maybe they will, but from what I've seen, they very rarely do. So guys, for T side, Adrin, their entry fragger, usually he's decent, guys, but one thing I realized about him too is he doesn't fully check sites. So whenever he runs in a site, he'll check around, get a kill. But a lot of times what happens is someone's lurking somewhere where they don't expect it. Maybe in a corner, maybe in a different position. And he always seems to die, which, is pretty common for an entry fragger. But it usually costs his life as well as the teammates. So that's one thing I noticed about Adrin is he's a very good player. Don't get me wrong. He's very good, has a very amazing shot. But sometimes he's not the smartest player. And I think especially versus an SK squad that knows everything about this game up and down, they definitely have an advantage on the CT side for that reason as well. So guys, hopping into the statistics here on Stay On Pit GG, this is a website I love to use. Map distribution, you can see the biggest red flag I have here is Gambit loves overpass. And SK, they struggled on overpass versus FaZe, but they also stole 13 rounds versus the second best team in the world. I'd say Gambit's around maybe arguably top 10 teams. I'd say usually top 15 teams. But if SK can steal, with the help of Stewie in that op, 13 rounds off FaZe on overpass, I think it doesn't matter if Gambit plays it way more often. I think that SK can easily take that. Another big differential here is the Inferno. SK plays Inferno way more often, as well as they win it more often. 50%, 53% here, guys, and 45% here. Big red flags here is their T side on Inferno is really bad, and then SK's Inferno CT side is pretty good. So that's something to keep in mind, guys. Cash, SK obviously have an advantage on as well. Moving down here, Cash, 55%, 55%. And then also their CT side is very weak on Cash. T side, very good. So it's honestly looking very good for SK, looking at the Stay On Pit stats. Overall, it doesn't matter about who plays it more, who wins it more, guys. I think that SK clear-cut has an advantage here. So, guys, one more thing I want to touch on here, the head-to-head. This really does not give you a great insight on how the teams are going to play that day, but just something to keep in mind. SK Train, they won that about 3 months ago. This is also a long time ago, I believe that, but yeah, this is before that Stewie, I'm pretty sure. So you guys, you can't really look at this either, but overpass, they lost overtime, and then Inferno, they won pretty convincingly, guys. So with this being said, guys, I am going to bet SK minus 1.5, as well as if Inferno goes through, I'm going to be betting Inferno map spread for SK. That is going to be my picks for this game, guys. So guys, sorry this video is not up to par with my other videos. I'm actually pretty rushed right now. And one thing I realized, I need to start recording me doing my research while I do it. Just to show you guys, what I'm doing. Looking up Steam hours, stuff like that. So I think I'm going to start doing that next video or the video after that. But like I said before, guys, SK minus 1.5 as well as SK Inferno map spread if that pulls through. I just want to say thank you guys so much for watching. Thank you guys so much for the support. I'm glad that we're up now. We're making a lot of money. Someone said that, hey, why don't you put your record in there? Well, one thing you guys have to realize as well is sometimes I say, hey, bet minus 1.5 or money line. So I don't know which one do I count both. Do I count the one that hit? For instance, today I said, bet minus 1.5 or bet money line. And I could say I was 2-0 today, or I say 2-1, or I can say I'm 1-1. Guys, it's just confusing. But I'd say right now I'm about 9-3, 9-4, something like that. But we're definitely over double positive, I believe. So that's awesome. I want to keep it up with SK here versus Gambit, guys. So thank you guys so much for watching. Please remember to follow me on Twitter. It's on the screen right now. And thank you guys. All right, peace.